Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. Uh, on this video, we're going to be traveling through Speedway, Indiana. And this is the actual city of Speedway, Indiana. This is not to be misconstrued with what they call the Speedway area or the Speedway neighborhood, which is located in Indianapolis. Now, for those of you that are looking to move to the greater Indianapolis area, I mean, sometimes when you go look at houses and you type in Speedway, you might see a house that will pop up that might be for sale, and it might have a Speedway address. And if you're smart enough to actually drive by the house physically and check the neighborhood out, check the house out, everything like that, you'll find that some of the, like, if you come across a house with a Speedway address that might have a lower than normal price, you're thinking, man, that sounds like a good deal. Speedway is a good little area. It's right outside Indianapolis, so you're thinking, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and grab that up. Now there's still some of you that are still out here purchasing houses, sight unseen, having even stuff put on in the area. You're going all, you're trusting your realtor to do the right thing when showing you the property, which in most cases they're not going to tell you everything that you need to know about the area. So anyhow, sometimes when you see a house with a Speedway address, understand that that house is not in Speedway, Indiana. It might be in the Speedway neighborhood in Indianapolis. And there's a big difference between Speedway, Indiana and the Speedway neighborhood of Indianapolis. And tomorrow I'm going to release a video of the Speedway neighborhood in Indianapolis. So when you watch this video that I'm putting out today, and then you watch the video of Speedway Indiana, of the Speedway neighborhood of Indianapolis, you'll see the difference. And this is the significant difference. So I just want to put that out there for those of you that are looking to move to the greater Indianapolis area. So Speedway, Indiana is located northwest of Indianapolis, right outside of Indianapolis. Now, Speedway was incorporated as a town back in 1926. The population of Speedway is 13,952 people. It has experienced an 18.1% population growth as of the 2020 census, up from 11,812 people back during the 2010 census. Now, back during the 2010 census, the city of Speedway lost 8.3% of its population, and it also lost 1.6% of its population back during the 2000 census. Now, back in 2000, Speedway's population was 12,881 people. So basically what's going on is, after a population decline for the last 20 years prior to 2020, in 2020 this city done grew 18.1%. And I'm going to just say that I believe a lot of the growth of the city, I personally credit the growth of the city to people not wanting to live in the city core of Indianapolis due to all the riffraff that has been going on in Indianapolis. So I think that's the reason why the city of Speedway is starting to grow again. And for the majority of the existence of Speedway, the population has grown. The population, for the most part, has only shrunk for two census years. So anyhow, if Speedway is, of course, the home of Indianapolis Speedway. Now, Indianapolis Speedway is basically located between. Now, technically, Indianapolis Speedway is located between Speedway, Indiana, and Indianapolis. It is right there on that main. I forget what that street was called, but Speedway is like speed. I mean, depending on what direction you're coming from. If you're coming from Indianapolis and you're on your way in the Speedway, you'll pass up the Indianapolis Speedway. If you're in the Speedway and you're on your way back into Indianapolis, you'll pass up the Indianapolis Speedway. I mean, Speedway is basically located between Speedway and Indianapolis. So, just a little quick history about the Indianapolis Speedway, super quick. I mean, the founders of the Indianapolis Speedway was Carl G. Fisher, James A. Allison, Frank Wheeler, and Arthur Newby. Now, the city of Speedway was created to help keep employees of nearby industrial plants such as Presto Light and Allison Engine Corporation, owned by Mr. Fisher and Mr. Allison, close by, and also to make it easier for them to find more employees, because at the time that Speedway was created, those two plants apparently were already in the area and they were severely short employees. Now these investors also wanted to create a city free of horses, where residents are able to drive automobiles and take part in the creation of mechanical parts for other modes of transportation. So basically, Speedway was kind of a mini transportation, well, I don't know if transportation hub would be the correct terminology, but basically Speedway, Indiana was initially created to be a mini transportation industry, so to speak. I don't know what the proper terminology is. I can't talk for shit. You guys know that. But anyways, Speedway, Indiana was basically created to be I'll just say it, a auto industry hub of Indianapolis, in layman's terms. And to this day, some of the largest employers here in Speedway are going to be Allison Transmission, Indianapolis Speedway itself, the U.S. Auto Club, the Lara Race Car Factory, and Speedway Indoor Karting Racetrack. So Speedway basically is a city that was built around the race car industry. That's why I should have said a second ago. But like I said, I can't talk for shit. You guys know that. But anyways, so for those of you that are race car enthusiasts, you know, Speedway is your city. Now, if you're looking to reside here in the Speedway, the crime here is not bad. Now, your violent crime is below national average, which is wonderful. Now, Speedway does have a bit of a property crime issue. People around here apparently have sticky fingers. I mean, your property crime here is 1.93% above national average. In other words, it is almost double the national average property crime is. So people here do got some sticky fingers, apparently. Now, the racial demographics are as follows: 60.1% white, 21.4% black, 4.1% Asian, and 9.2% Hispanic. Now, if you're looking to rents, your median rent prices are going to go from $690 to $1,500 a month. And, you know, those numbers might be accurate, but I'm thinking the numbers are going to be a little higher than that for Speedway anymore. Now, if you're looking to own, the median home price is $218,000. Now, the cheapest you're going to be able to find a house for right now is going to be at least $170,000. And from $170,000, the price goes up significantly from there. And if you're in the market looking to buy something a little older, there are a few of those houses currently for sale here in Speedway that are older. Now, much of the houses that are for sale are going to be newer construction. Some of them haven't even been built yet. So be careful of that. Now, me personally, if I was looking to buy a house, I prefer to buy something a little older myself because they're built far better quality material and workmanship. And with the older house, you're not going to have to worry about it blowing away in a bad windstorm. Just my 2 cents. Now, me personally, if, you know, like I tell you guys, I'm a small town type of guy. However, if I had to live in greater Indianapolis, Speedway would definitely be one of the places I would at least look at. I mean, I think Speedway is a nice little community right outside of Indianapolis. Now, obviously, if you got the money, like I would say, if you have maybe $300,000, you can afford to buy a house that sits on a slightly larger lot to where your neighbors aren't going to be as close up to you. But I would say if you're looking at buying a house out here for the average price or lower, the house is going to be smaller, your neighbors are going to be closer by. But if you don't mind that, then yeah, you can definitely find a house for the average price of $218 or a little lower. But I would say as far as a place to live, now Speedway being a suburb of Indianapolis, Speedway does get a fair amount of traffic during the week. Now, I've recorded this video on a Sunday, so that's why you don't see a whole lot of traffic. But during the week, you will see a lot more traffic. So just understand that. And of course, the city of Speedway is right outside of Indianapolis. So, you know, as far as it goes for entertainment, you know, Indianapolis is a hop, skip, and a jump away. And I would say, depending on I would say if you're looking to live in Speedway, now for me personally, if I was wanting to live in Speedway, I wouldn't consider living in Speedway unless I had at least $300,000 to drop on a house. Because for me, the average price of $218,000 is not going to buy anything that I want. It's not going to put me in the neighborhood that I want here in Speedway. Now, from what I was able to see when I was putting together this video, I did not see any bad neighborhoods here in Speedway. But for me, when it comes to owning a house, I prefer my lot to be a little bigger. I prefer to be a little further from my neighbors. I mean, you know, not necessarily in no man's land, of course, but, you know, just a little bit of room. Just enough room to where when I look out any of my windows, I'm not able to see inside theirs. Just enough room to where, you know, I'm not going to be able to hear my neighbor have a conversation right outside. that kind of space. Now, if I was able to find something like that, I definitely would consider moving to Speedway. I think Speedway appears to be a nice little city. So now we're going to jump over to niche and we're going to see what other people say about Speedway. All right. Now I realize that some of you are, let's see here. And first we're going to see what people say about Speedway here. Now Speedway has a 4.5-star rating among 37 reviews. That's pretty damn good. So let's see what they gotta say. And I'm gonna do my normal. I might read 2 to 3 comments per category. So this first comment is gonna be a 5-star comment. This was from 6 months ago. It's a long one. So here's what they said. Now I'm reading this word, and now when I read these comments, I read them word for word. So if you don't already realize that, I read these word for word. Speedway, Indiana has always been my safe and happy place growing up. I grew up just living 2 streets away from the Speedway. 2 streets was enough to see the economic difference from my street and Speedway. Just from hearing that we would be in the town of Speedway lit my little face. Speedway was exactly like a suburban town, like in the movies. I loved how I felt and still feel because I'm life in the same place as I was growing up. Well, they meant to say I live in the same place as I was growing up. Speedway was always very well put, from being clean, nice people, nice parks, and overall a nice environment. I guess I was always brought to Speedway because my mom wanted me to enjoy my childhood years, as happy as those kids living in a beautiful town such as Speedway, and every day I thank her for that. I hope one day I won't have to travel 2 streets over for my child to enjoy their childhood, but to live in a nice neighborhood in a town like Speedway, Indiana. Okay, here's another 5-star from January of 2022. Speedway is a family-friendly neighborhood, perfect for growing families. The schools are one of the best in the country and have won several awards. Their teachers are kind and actually care about the students' well-being. Everybody is like a family who supports each other and helps each other grow and picks each other up in times of need. Overall, Speedway is a small town that is perfect for anyone looking for warmth and familiarity. Okay, now we're gonna read a couple that are 4 stars. Now this first one is from 10 months ago. I like that Speedway has gone through some major improvements without compromising its original atmosphere. It's constantly growing in residents and has much to offer as far as housing, entertainment, etc. Now, every so often you guys might catch me change a couple of words around here and there, because some of these people, they type these comments, or two, they probably speak it into their phone, and they neglect and they neglect to proofread. And then when it appears on these sites, it's a complete mess. Okay, anyhow, this other 4-star comment is from February of 2022. Speedway is a small, peaceful town, and despite it being small, is something you do not want to overlook. It's a town where people of diverse backgrounds come together to live in one community. Although it is almost commonly known for the Indy 500 racetrack, it has more to offer than just that. The education here is outstanding, as Speedway schools actually prioritize education and the value of learning. Most of the people here are pretty open-minded and accepting to all others from different backgrounds. Speedway, despite it being small, is a town largely full of diversity. And I got, I'm gonna be completely honest with you people, just for a second here. I mean, I'm always honest, but I'm gonna be honest. And that's one thing which I do like about some of these suburbs. Now, at this point, Speedway is way outside my price range when it comes to housing. But I'm not gonna lie to you people. If I had $300,000+ to drop on a house, I would move to a community like this in a heartbeat. I'm not even gonna lie to you folks, because I also like Speedway. I also like the diversity that's out here in Speedway, and I also enjoy how close it is in Indianapolis. Now I know that's kind of weird, and I know it could be. I know for some of you, I'm contradicting myself, because I've always talked about small town living. But every so often I do run into communities like this one that I do like, and it happens to be close by the city proper. Okay, let's keep on going. I think I'm going to read one more 4-star. This is from January of 2021. As a recent transplant to Speedway, I have to say it is so much more than I anticipated. The people I've met and interacted with are quite helpful and giving. Neighbors look out for one another. The little shops and restaurants are locally owned and have unique qualities to make you feel at home no matter where you go. Let's not forget about the racing. The festivals for the Brickyard and the Indy 500 are one of the kind. You can interact with drivers, pit crew, see the car haulers, and the festivals. Street vendors, live music, unique activities, and meeting new friends truly make Speedway a one in a billion places to be. Now I will tell you people, another part of Indianapolis which I personally like is Broad Ripple. Again, if I had the right amount of money, I would entertain living in Broad Ripple. Okay, now we're going to drop down to average 3-star comments. This first one is from November of 2018. This one is a little older, obviously. Your last name gets you anything grand in Speedway. To be successful here, your name must be known. You can't just move here and find success. Other than that, people are generally friendly. Now this one was from 2018. Now, In 2018, Speedway was obviously a tad smaller than what it is today. But given the fact that Speedway is just outside of Indianapolis, whoever wrote this comment, they must not, I don't know, I'm going to assume that either A, they're somewhat of a loser, or they were back then, or two, they just don't get around too much. Let's keep going. Well, that's the only one that's worth reading. The other two, I'm not even going to waste my time. They're not really saying shit. Okay, now here's one person that actually gave Speedway. Now, no one gave Speedway a 2-star rating. Now, one person gave Speedway a 1 star. So we're going to see what they had to say. Now, this is from May of 2020. First thing to know is Speedway is in an HOA. If you're okay with being told what you can't do with your own property, then this is a place for you. We refer to it as Nazi Speedway. The people here are not friendly. They act like this is Carmel. It's not. Sirens 24/7 is awful. In the 8 years I've lived here, we've been harassed, stolen from, cars vandalized, and threatened. Not once have the police taken a report or tried to help. But let me park in the yard to wash my car and I'm fined $150. The list of rules is almost 600 pages. Be prepared to pay for multiple permits if you do anything to improve your home. If you're self-employed or do anything on the side to make extra money, and town friends to make extra money, and town finds out, they'll make you pay for that, even if you're only actually working in town to make the money. The schools are better than most, and that's the only thing Speedway is good for. If you're looking to move here, my house is actually for sale. All right. I mean, I will say that comment was rather interesting. I mean, I definitely would not want to live in a community like that. That would suck. It would be miserable. Now, I will say, obviously, for anybody that's wanting to move to Speedway, I would not suggest you buy a house in the HOA. In fact, I've made numerous videos about HOAs. For those of you that are new to the channel, I despise HOAs. I hate them. I think they're a bunch of criminals. You do not need an HOA to improve your neighborhood. You do not need an HOA to keep your neighborhood clean. All you need is each other. And maybe a little, life counselor. I mean, that sometimes that's necessary. But anyways, I despise HOAs. I'm with this person. HOAs suck. So if you move to Speedway, obviously, my suggestion would be to buy a house not in an HOA, which is one reason why you want to buy an older house, because many of these newer communities are being built in an HOA, which I think is criminal in itself, but that's my opinion. Obviously, if I were to live in Speedway, I would never buy in an HOA. If all that was available were all HOAs, I wouldn't live in Speedway. Alright folks, that's going to do it for the commentary. Hopefully you guys got something out of it. And as always, I thank every last one of you for tuning in and watching another episode of Andrew's Life. And if you want to help me out, it's free. It doesn't cost you a dime. All you got to do is give videos like this a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do so, because I will be dropping more videos like this. Alright folks, stay blessed. Oh, there's about 22 more minutes left of the video. So, go ahead, continue to watch the video so you get more uh, footage of Speedway. All right, folks, stay blessed.